Where Steve Howey is alongside Cel, Paul Dickov and Shaun.
Good evening, welcome back to Matchday Live. It's full time at the Etihad Stadium. We were taking on RB Leipzig, knowing that a draw or a win would all but secure us finishing the group first. And the boys did that. 2-0 at half-time to RB Leipzig, but they've come back with 3 goals in the second half to make it finish. Manchester City 3, RB Leipzig 2. Steve Howey, what did you make of that second half? Very different tone to the first.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, we all knew that Diaz would be making way because of the booking and Ake coming on. But then when the manager made the 2 subs with Alvarez and Doku, I mean, that just absolutely changed the game. You've got Alvarez, who just pretty much a couple of minutes before absolutely comes on, he finds them little pockets. That's what defenders don't like. I mean, he's obviously in between the 2 lines, if you want. Defender doesn't really want to go in there because he thinks he's leaving a big gap. So, of course, he gets left, and then when he turns, he just threads a great ball through for Haaland. I'm kind of looking at it. I mean, I'm not a centre-forward, but yes, he favours his left foot, but he opens his body up really well and passes it in. But from there, they just went on from strength to strength. They said Doku, he was causing all kinds of problems down the left-hand side. And you have to see it, even though they got the goal, very, very close with an offside, City were dominant. Yeah, looked very comfortable at 2-2, then went 3-2. What a fantastic result and what a fantastic comeback.
It was indeed. I think the first time as well, as the man was saying there in the Champions League, from being 2 goals down. Paul, you just said to me there, it was a game of 2 halves. Steve, you mentioned the subs, but what else did you notice that changed? What did City do so differently that they weren't doing in the first half?
I think we said at half-time, it's in tempo. Passing, taking care of what they were doing. Everything was so much quicker than what they were doing, and they didn't give Leipzig a chance to get in their shape when the ball was turned over. I thought Alvarez was fantastic when he came on. He actually, the first half, because we had Rico and Phil, didn't we, sort of playing into 2 10s, as Shaun said at half-time, but they sort of stayed in that position. When Alvarez came on, he literally played as the 10 in between the lines, and it let Phil go and roam a little bit more.
Bit more freedom, yeah.
And it caused them, because they didn't know, as Steve said there, the centre-half didn't know whether to come in and pick up Alvarez. If he did, the ball was going down the side to Haaland. And, you know, as soon as Alvarez comes on, he picks up that pocket, slips it into Phil, slips it into Haaland, there you go, touch and finish. It's a great finish. But then Doku as well was sensational when he came on, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, they're doubling up on him, and they was sending him for pies left, right and centre every time he got the ball. But just the whole shape of the team, the movement, the interaction, and definitely the tempo, the passing, and being more incisive was a big difference from the first half.
Let's take a look, folks. And we just kind of talked through that first goal, obviously with the through ball from Foden. It was a very well taken finish from Haaland. Shaun, you were saying, so as you said, when we were watching, very quick out of his feet to then slot it in the bottom left.
Yeah, Foden receives the ball. For me, he's the best at receiving balls in little pockets and getting turn. When he slides his ball, we're sort of initially thinking it's Haaland. He receives it on his left foot to take it with his left foot, and you're thinking the chance is gone. But he's finished it that quickly. By the time the challenge comes in, he's released the shot, and he just finds the corner. And it's a beautiful finish because it looks so simple, but it's a lot harder than what it looked like.
Yeah.
But this is what he's like, you know. He gets these sort of chances, and he's just got the right amount of composure and power to just put it past the keeper. He's not really slashing at it, and it's like, there you go, in the corner. Keeper doesn't really have much of a chance, but. What was all the worry? Hey, what was all the worry at half time? Yeah, but we know. I mean, such is the standard that we've had in terms of when we get to the standards. You know, this is why the first half we're looking around and thinking like, it's the City. This doesn't seem right. It doesn't. You know, 1 or 2 or 3 errors and mistakes, but starting to get a little bit more like it. I know it's probably wrong, but. Doku come on, and what I like about Doku's game is so mixed up. I was never really a defender, but he goes, yeah, he goes line, he goes inside, and then he gets it another time, and he goes, no, I'm not going to take you on. I'm going to be patient. So he's just really a brilliant winger because he has patience when he needs to, and sometimes he goes direct or little change, and defenders thinking, he's done me there. I just like how he switches up his game, and that's not to say Jack is a quality player, because Jack does some really good things for us, because what he does is he brings the opposition all the way across and gives an advantage on the other side. So when we meet the ball quickly, it becomes a 2v1, etc. on the other side. So, but today Doku, his directness to be able to go line or go inside, link up, pass balls inside, brilliant.
Brilliant stuff. The second goal as well, we're going to be hearing from FG in just a second. But let's get it to 2-2, because the second goal, I mean, Phil Foden, I thought was brilliant. As you said, once he was freed up, it was a beautiful finish from the man, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And I think the ball to him, I think we've sort of said Guardiola was probably, well, my man of the match. I thought he was excellent.
Yeah.
I think even in the first half, when we were sort of saying there was a lot of players that weren't on it, he was.
Agreed.
And he was the one that put the ball in for Foden, and he's took that touch and turn. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's how he kind of manipulates it, and you might just say is it luck that he goes through the defender's legs to put it in the corner? I don't think it is. I think that's meant. He's looking. He knows what he's doing there.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic finish, and as people say, it's a great goal, which it is. But this is what you come to expect from a player like him, who is absolute top quality.
Just a quick word on Guardiola there. I mean, as I said, I agree with you, Stevie. I think overall he was man of the match. Alvarez came on, changed the game, freed up Foden, but overall, and one, we saw the defensive side, but then also him going where he's so elegant, I feel, going forward. And then balls in, you commented on as well.
He's got real quality, and I love the fact that when he passes the ball in the final third, he rifles it into people. And as a forward, we love that. That makes your mind up. You know, if the ball's sort of slowing into you, do a turn, take a touch as a centre half. When it's rifled into you like that, you've got a split second.
Yeah.
And when you've got the quality of the players at City have got, that split second's everything.
Yes.
You know, he doesn't just dolly the ball in. When he gets it, he does it with real incision, and he'd done that 3 or 4 times today.
Yeah.
And defensively, he was great, but with the ball going forward, considering he's a centre half as such, and that left back role, you know, he's top quality. We spoke about him before the game, you know, and he's got a bit of everything. He's rough, he can tackle, but he's so elegant in the ball at the same time.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. Right, that's the score at 2-2. We're going to come back and tell you what happened in the final part of the second half, after we've heard from FG, who's with one of our commentators today, Andy Morrison.
And there you have it, Manchester City complete the comeback, 3-2 against Leipzig. That was a game full of emotions, wasn't it, Andy?
It was. It's a strange game, because although, you know, they were 2-0 up at half-time, it was 2 mistakes. We created 3 or 4 really good chances in the first half, where we didn't even ask any questions of the keeper. Second half, every opportunity we had, the keeper either made a save or we scored. So a tremendous second half. I thought Phil Foden's got to take great credit for the change around. You know, he was pivotal in what happened, and brilliant performance from City, and we don't want to go down 2-0 too often.
And we can see Rico Lewis over here going to give his shirt to the fans. What a man, well done, my friend. Could have scored first half though, no? Well done, Rico. That was the thoughts of Rico. You can see Jeremy Doku behind us. Great win for Manchester City, mate. 3-2. But one thing I want to say is that goal from Phil Foden, the way he took the ball down into his stride and finished it. It's just superb and so hard to defend against, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought Phil was a little bit safe in the first half, and I thought once Doku came on and stretched the back 5, which created a little bit of space for Phil Foden, and then he dictated the game. You know, it was his movement and first touch that created Haaland's chance. He then scores, and then the third goal again, his touch is magnificent in the box, and Phil Foden's had a really, really good second half.
He has indeed, actually. It was Jeremy Doku who came on the pitch, and it was 20 seconds later we scored. Obviously, the 2 subs had nothing to do with it, but did it open up a bit of space when he came on? And did that give Phil a bit more freedom in between, and even Julian Alvarez as well, just more bodies forward?
Yeah, it was. I mean, listen, the players have got to take credit that were on the pitch, because, you know, they tire the opposition out, but then Doku comes on, and immediately he forces them back 5 yards. That 5 yards creates a space for Phil Foden to start affecting the game, because the centre-halves were popping out onto him and making him go backwards. But once they stretched them, he found little pockets, and he was a difference in the game, and Doku pushed them back. Pep takes great credit for seeing it, you know, but they still had to finish them, and the first half we were wasteful, second half exceptional.
Exceptional, and exceptional throughout the group. We've got one more game left over to Belgrade. Bit of a free hit. How do you think we're going to approach that game?
Approach it to win it. You know, we spoke about SFG before the game. We spoke about the identity of this football club is you win games of football, and that first half, uncharacteristic mistakes that we don't see, and then made up for it in the second half, and it's a win, it's a victory.
It is a victory. We're looking forward to that last group game, which will be at Matchday Live. We'll be there in Belgrade, which is an incredible atmosphere, which Andy spoke about before Matchday Live. But from us pitchside, thank you so much as always for joining us. Let's head back to the studio.
Thanks so much, FG. Thanks to Andy. Thanks to Alistair, man. Thanks to everyone who's been involved throughout the show this evening. We touched upon it there. We were at 2-2, weren't we, gents? Steve, quickly, there was a goal from RB Leipzig, but then correctly called. He just strayed offside. Very, very unlucky. But for me, annoying again. It seemed one ball over the top down the middle was nearly our Achilles heel.
Yeah, but I think the team's kind of pushing forward, and I wouldn't say take chances, but you are going to be, I suppose, a little bit more susceptible when you're really pushing forward and leaving kind of gaps. If you look at that goal, actually, the lad who's offside, his pass is by his back or his backside, and he actually intends to do that as well. But he's just slightly offside. Obviously, when he gets the ball back and he puts it in, he's miles onside. But yeah, I mean, this is where we have VAR. At times everybody complains about it, but sometimes when you look at it, and of course you've got the referee, that's the assistant who gets his flag up. Yeah. Of course they'll have to review it, but that's why we have VAR. Yeah. But I mean, listen, it was definitely a kind of a threat, and it's basically sort of telling the Man City players, listen, you've still got to be on your toes here. You're not going to just cruise past us. You've got to give credit to Leipzig. They've been excellent tonight. Yeah. They've been under so much pressure, but I thought the first half they were excellent. But when you're like under the cosh, as we say in football, the pressure's on you and on you and on you, it is so difficult, not only physically but mentally, to be switched on. And of course that's what happened, because City ended up getting the third goal. We did indeed, Paul, and talk us through that. I mean, the touch from Phil Foden for me is just another one for him to add to his highlight reel. It was a joke.
Yeah, it's just pure natural ability, isn't it? He doesn't have to think about it. He knows exactly what he's doing. Great ball into him again. But yeah, the touch and the turn is it's world class. Mm-hmm. And then the ball across, and Alvarez, two players we're talking about was Foden and Alvarez. I think Phil 2 assists. Yeah. Alvarez come on, got his goal, and his goal scoring record for us has been phenomenal as well. So yeah, fantastic goal and well deserved, because Andy said their first half was indifferent, which shocked us all a little bit, but the second half was exceptional. And what we know Pep always puts it right. And Shaun, we've highlighted the key players there, maybe that changed the game, but how much do we have to attribute it to our man Pep Guardiola? Obviously, I guess it's no coincidence that, I mean, you might have been a bit close to the substitution, but 30 seconds after a sub, the ball's in the back of the net. The changes from Pep, spot on. Absolutely spot on. And I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the guys, and I'm thinking, what do you do if you're set there? Because it was so, I felt like it was so many things that was wrong. Agreed. And some of it was just misplaced passing. But Pep goes in, he gathers his team, and I can imagine him like, okay, what do you see? What you see? He's getting all that information in, and then he's just coming back and going, right, we're doing this. This is what I'm seeing. Taking that information in from his team and going, this is what we're doing. And the guy's a genius, because I'm telling you, I've not seen us play probably as bad as that because of some errors. And he goes and makes these subs, and we perform this way, just go to that next level. And I did say, because it was a belief, I said, I've seen what we can do. I know what we can do, that we can go and score, 2 and 3 goals and even 4. And we go and do it. But this man, I'm telling you, Pep's a genius, because I was sitting there thinking, what do you do? Because he just sees the game in a whole different way. Yeah, and that's why we're so thankful he's our manager. Right, we're going to bring you the reveal of our mystery blue and a quick look ahead to Tottenham Hotspur, but we can now hear from a man that definitely helped change the game and turn things around in the second half. He goes by the name of Julian Alvarez.
Julian, the game really changed when you and Jeremy came on. Why do you think you were able to make such an impact?
Sí, bueno, fue justo en el momento que entramos con Jeremy, logramos en la primera jugada hacer el gol para descontar. Fue un partido difícil, pero a partir de ahí fue todo nuestro. Tuvimos muchas situaciones de gol, llegaron los goles para ganar un partido importante.
The game really seemed to change when me and Jeremy came on. We were able to score from the very first play after we came in, but from there on we really took control of the game. We were able to play our style of play, create a lot of chances and get the win in such a difficult game.
What did Pep say at half-time and then to you and Jeremy when you did come on?
No, nos dijo que teníamos que seguir de esta forma, el equipo lo estaba haciendo bien, ellos tuvieron 2 jugadas que fueron muy efectivos, pero nada, sabíamos que haciendo nuestro juego los goles iban a llegar.
Yeah, he told us to carry on as we were playing. We were playing well up to that point, and maybe we could just be a bit more effective, but just to keep on playing our game and get those goals.
This team's really good at coming back from behind. Why do you think that is?
El equipo está bien en remontar partidos. ¿Por qué es eso?
Creo que es un poco la mentalidad de este grupo, de mentalidad ganadora y de siempre pensar en positivo hasta el final. Sabemos que el partido es muy largo y haciendo nuestro juego los goles van a llegar.
I think it's this winning mentality that we have. We're always a very positive team that fight right until the end and try to play our game. We know that these games are long. We've got opportunities to win.
And we topped the group with that result tonight. That's job done, isn't it?
Sí, queríamos ganar este partido para terminar primeros en el grupo. Todavía queda un partido más. Tenemos muchos partidos por delante, pero vamos a seguir trabajando para ganar, para terminar el año en todas las competiciones ahí en lo más alto.
Yes, we wanted the win tonight to be able to finish in first place. So we have one more game left, but we know there's a long way to go yet this season, and we want to go as far as we can in every competition.
And as you say about the knockout stages there, we're champions of Europe, so we won't fear anyone, no matter who we draw.
Como campeones de Europa no podemos temer a nadie en esta competición.
No, obviamente siempre intentamos hacer nuestro juego, sea el rival contra el que sea. Lo hemos demostrado la temporada pasada, esta temporada también, así que siempre haciendo nuestro juego para intentar ganar.
Yes, we always want to play our game. We've been able to show that last year, and we've been able to show it up to this point this season as well. So we will go for it with our all.
Julian, well played tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Treble winner, World Cup winner, game changer, Julian Alvarez there, also scoring a goal tonight to help us beat RB Leipzig 3-2. Fantastic performance from him once again. Gents, before we just have a quick look ahead to Tottenham, let's take a look at our mystery blue. We've been playing it throughout the show. We bring you 3 clues. I can now reveal to you, with these 3 clues, we had a few guesses here in the studio as well. There was a few wry smiles as the third one, I think, confirmed it. First clue was this former Blue striker is a former teammate of many of our Matchday Live regulars. Okay. Clue number 2. This player was the first signing of the late Franny Lee when he was chairman. First person he signed when he was chairman. And the third clue, which I think is the one that really will help you get it, is that the Blues legend name is an anagram of Ruler's Woe. Paul, can you reveal to us who it is?
It's a certain Mr. Uwe Rosler.
It is indeed. That is today's mystery blue. So well done to anyone who got that correct. We had a few good guesses come in there as well. So well done to everyone involved. Gents, Tottenham Hotspur next. Steve, what are your thoughts? Obviously, probably not coming into in the form that they started the season with, but a difficult proposition coming to the Etihad Stadium.
Yeah, I think... if you're watching it as a neutral, I think you'd be looking forward to this game. I think, obviously, if you're a supporter of both teams, you'd be looking forward to this game because you've got 2 teams that love attacking. If you look at Ange Postecoglou, how he likes to play, really for him, he likes to play one way. And that's entertaining football, that's expansive football. I just listened to a Celtic fan on the radio on the way down. They were making the same kind of comments. Yes, he's got the injury to 1 or 2 players, I think particularly Maddison. Players like that, of course, they're going to miss. But I'm looking forward to this game. They could be wide open, because they like to get forward and they will leave gaps. And of course, we all know what Man City like, and they will expose those gaps.
It's interesting, isn't it, Shaun? We're so, I think, and this is going to be a conversation probably we have on Matchday Live, but we're so used to seeing teams come and set up a certain way. But we know we've got a manager here, as Steve said, that is committed to the way he plays his philosophy, exact same as Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
Do you think, in your opinion, he's gonna turn up and try and play, or do you think he might come to the Etihad and we could be the ones that make him change his style a bit? What do you think?
Well, when I listen to his remarks, you know, he's a believer in his way of playing, which is very similar to how City play, to be on the front foot, to be aggressive. I think the one thing about the way they play, though, is we have a weapon in our goalkeepers, and our ability to hit a 50-yard pass that can absolute kill a team that press. So when they're looking to press with 5 or even 6 players, we've got a goalkeeper that can have both goalkeepers that can have a touch and go, there you go, wide player, you're in, or centre forward, you're in. And so it makes for a really interesting game because, again, I think there's a lot of parts of how they play, which is very similar, and I'm sure a lot of how he plays and coaches his team is around what he's seen with Pep. Mm-hmm. But if you're a neutral, you are really, you know, doing this, like what game to look forward to. But Pep is a manager that understands teams that leave spaces and how to exploit them. So, you know, whether they're having a high line or whether they're a bit wide in midfield, he'll look to expose it. But I think it's a very, very good game for the neutral.
The other question I just wanted to finish on, Paul, we've obviously come and secured qualification, 1-3-2, but I think we're all agreed it was a pretty unrecognisable City team in that first half. You've conceded 4 goals against Chelsea, Liverpool 1-1. Is there a degree of we're not coming into it maybe in the form that we'd like to, or we've seen in City in the past, and is it a concern given how good Tottenham have looked this season?
Possibly, but I think it's a great game for us on Sunday. Look, Tottenham are missing Maddison, but they're back 4 as well. They've got a lot of injuries. I mean, I think their centre-halves at the weekend, no good players, but 2 full-backs, and Emerson Royale, who's erratic at the best of times. Ben Davis was the other one, 2 full-backs who are not really that tall, leave loads of spaces. Fantastic to watch, great to watch, but they do concede a lot of goals as well. And I just feel as if looking over the last 3 games, they've conceded a lot of goals, could have conceded a lot more. And I think that they'll come here, they won't change. I love Big Ange. Yeah. You know, I think he's great. I think he's a breath of fresh air in his interviews. Players love him. They did at Celtic, they did at Yokohama. But I think it could be a very dangerous game for them on Sunday because, as you said, the last couple of results haven't been what we've wanted. But at the same time, this City team, they're at their best when they've not been at their best beforehand.
So true. Well, we'll finish on that note there. Gents, it's been a pleasure as always. What an evening. Thank you to Steve Howey, thank you to Shaun and thank you to Paul Dickov. And as always, thank you to you for watching. So don't forget, Matchday Live, I'm going to be back with you on Sunday afternoon, joined by Paul Robinson, Ledley King and Julian Lescott. What a lineup. And tonight it is finished 3-2. That is the 7th consecutive year the Manchester City have qualified for the next stage, top of the group. But that all wouldn't have been possible without 3 legends who we've been celebrating tonight. Francis Lee, Mike Summerby and Colin Bale. Manchester City will be forever grateful, and that statue represents the love and appreciation we have and generations will have to continue. See you later. Good night.
Into the studio. Lee, to Bell, to Summerby, to Lee. Football perfection.
When I speak to people about him, they say how special it was for the club.
For me, they meant a lot. They're key icons.
Absolutely 3 legends of the football club.
He made the goal that made the cup possible.
How do you recognise the importance and significance of Colin, Francis and Mike?
Good sculpture should last the test of time.
Without doubt, the greatest British sculptor working in portraiture.
It's okay, it is really overwhelming. It's a really moving thing to see.
Well, to have a statue, you never think in lifetime, do you? It's an amazing thing, what the club have done.
This is about capturing something that is the spirit of Manchester City Football Club.
Without the great players, you cannot go forward without having that base of what happened in the past.
Lee, his hat-trick!
You've just lost one of the nicest people.
Over the last few weeks, I think we've been reminded of what a legend he was.
We should never forget the past.
I don't think Bell, Lee and Summerby will ever be forgotten.
These statues are an inspiration for generations to come.
to continue that as a tradition is really important, to make that a part of the DNA of a club.
For our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, it's there forever. Isn't that wonderful?